All right, so I'm going to use the Equus Financial Client Worksheet here. I'm just going to go through the first couple steps on this client worksheet with the client information and the mortgage information. I'm going to show you guys all a hypothetical situation. I use this client worksheet when I'm meeting with clients to determine their need and basically go through a needs analysis with them. And the key component to this is what this sheet is really doing is it's giving me the ability to come up with the facts that will help me drive the conversation to an emotional reason that they need to get coverage for their mortgage, or that they need to get life insurance. Um, at the core of the of mortgage protection sale or life insurance sale, there's always an emotional reason. It's never a situation where someone would buy this product because they want to protect themselves, typically, because they're not going to see the result of the purchase of life insurance within their lifetime. Generally speaking, there are some newer products with living benefits, but here I'm focusing on the death benefit side. So in using this example, I'm going to use a married couple named John and Jane. And at the core of it, I want everyone to realize that John has no reason to buy life insurance, just like Jane has no reason to buy life insurance for them in the afterlife, so to speak. What they have the reason to do that is because they want to make sure that their spouse is protected because they ultimately love them. And there's an emotional reason why. And so I use this client worksheet to help drive that point to put them in a position where they understand that they need to have life insurance. So what I'm going to do is, using this example, I'm going to have John and I'm going to have Jane. John's 64. Jane is 62 years old. Using this worksheet here, I have it set up so that John is bringing in about $4,500 a month. It's going to be a combination of Social Security and retirement. And then Jane is going to bring in a total of $3,000 a month, which is Social Security and current wages. Let's say she has a part-time job or something like that. John's income is going to be based off of the $2,500 that's coming in from retirement and the $2,000 of Social Security. And then, like I said, Jane's going to have the $2,000 of current wages and $1,000 Social Security. They have a total of $7,500. What I do with this situation is I'm going to ask them a couple questions, because even though I have the basic information that the client worksheet is asking me, I'm ultimately going to be asking them more probing questions on what does this actually look like. So with this retirement, the big picture that I have for the retirement here is, hey, does that retirement have survivorship on it? Guys, if you don't know what survivorship is, basically it means if you have a retirement plan like a pension or 401k or IRA or something like that, and you have a retirement on that asset, or excuse me, survivorship on that asset, when you get your monthly distribution of it, you're going to get a substantial amount less if you have survivorship, because it's going to pay out for both the husband and the wife in this case. So if they say, yes, I have survivorship, odds are they have survivorship. If you ask them, hey, does this policy or does this retirement have survivorship on it? And they say, I don't know, I can pretty much guarantee that they do not have survivorship on it, because they would definitely take a huge haircut on their monthly distribution if it does have survivorship. Also, given this circumstance, so if you notice here, so John's Social Security here is double what Jane's Social Security is. So let's take a look at this client worksheet, and let's take a look at it from the perspective of, let's say John dies, right? So John's dead. What does that leave Jane? What situation does that leave Jane in? So right now, so let's say his survivorship does not, or his pension does not have survivorship. His retirement does not have survivorship. So this is totally gone. The $2,500 coming in. Then Jane's Social Security here, this goes from $1,000. It gets bumped up to $2,000, but she also loses the $2,500 coming in. So Jane's entire income goes to $4K a month. So she makes $4,000 a month. So that's really important. So to a lot of people, $4,000 sounds like a big chunk of money. Let's scroll down a little bit so we can kind of keep going through this client worksheet. What this looks like is, so they have a $160,000 loan. They have 30 years left. Let's say they just refinance or they just purchase the home, whatever. That doesn't matter for using this example. But the mortgage payment is $2,000 a month. The value is $260,000. They have $100,000 of equity. What this looks like is, if John dies, Jane's income is at $4,000 a month. What situation does that leave her in? And so right now, so $2,000. So that takes out half of her $4,000 a month income here. So $2,000. So that's one half right there is already taken out. So then that leaves her with 2K or $500 a week for income. So one thing that I like to talk about in this situation is what does that look like for $500 a week of basically extra money outside of the mortgage? I love to look around and look at like the Comcast TV box. Like how much does your Comcast run you on a monthly basis? Or how much is your cell phone? I'm looking down at my iPhone right now. That's like $200 a month for me just on its own. Or how much is the car? How much is health insurance? Or whatever else the other expenses are. And so you can start asking Jane, what does this look like from an expense standpoint with the $500 coming in on a monthly basis? Um, what this will ultimately lead down to, if you can follow the conversation down, is she probably can't afford to stay in this home and have the $2,000 a month, but she does have $100,000 of equity that she could access. She's lucky in that situation. So in this case, what I would probably recommend would be putting in place a policy where if John dies, that maybe they have $12,000 of a death benefit or $24,000 of a death benefit, where that will give Jane the ability to make some decisions, not have to stop at Costco to pick up boxes on the way home from the funeral home or anything like that. But she'll have some time. She can put the house on the market and figure out, does she want to move into a smaller home, maybe a condo, maybe move in with her kids, something like that, or what is the rest of her life going to look like? But basically, you can ask a lot of questions right here and drive a lot of depth in this conversation by just figuring out and caring about John and Jane and what does this situation look like. I encourage everybody at the end of driving through all of those questions and coming up with what their specific plan is to always ask, how does that make you feel? Like, what would you like to have happen to you? Because at the end of the day, this is an emotional sale, and the more emotion you can drive up using the real life example of John and Jane, and talking to them about their situation, the more likely it is that you can get them to the point where they're going to be buyers today. And there's going to be some real urgency today if you can draw out, hey, we're not going to be in a great situation if one of us dies. So hope this helps, guys. If you have any questions, you can always call me, text me, email me. I'm happy to help whenever you guys need it. Talk to you soon. Thanks.